All right. We are live. We are Ant Live 6, and it's Adam and it's Tom here on the Small Scale Life YouTube channel. We are talking about passion projects from hobby to heartbeat. So we're going to be talking about discovering your passion, and this is going to be a totally clean and upstanding podcast. We're not talking about that kind of passion. We're talking about doing stuff and make a difference in the world, in your world, in the world in general. So I am Tom from Small Scale Life, and with me is
Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
Absolutely. Well, good to have you here, buddy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing
How's it
excellent.
going?
I'm doing excellent. It's a little bit slow, but with the weather's been kind of crappy outside.
Yep.
It's getting colder. We had that whole thing called daylight savings time. I don't know if we saved any daylight or not, but
I don't think so.
We tried. We really did try. And everyone's suffering because of it. But it's not as bad right now as it's going to be in the spring, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm feeling a little bit better. I was really slow this week and tired, and I took a couple of naps and just let my body speak to what it needed to be done. And hey, I'm awake now. I'm talking to a good friend. We're having some fun.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, and sometimes you got to listen to what your body's telling you, especially as we go into this season of darkness, right? I mean, it's getting dark early. So, yeah, it's okay. It's a time of coming inside, coming back in. And as you do that, this is going to be a great springboard into where we're going next with discovering your passion and all that stuff. So it's an internal journey, right? Going inside. Before we get there, I mean, we got a 6 million pound elephant in the room and donkey, right? So we've got the election tomorrow. Are you going to be paying any attention to the election, Adam?
The election matters less to me than me doing things for my life, because they don't care what you're doing. They care about all they care about is, can I get their votes?
Right.
Can I make some money?
Right.
That's all they're really caring about. It's not about you. It's about them.
Right.
You need to focus on what you are, your family, what's truly important to you. I'm going to focus what's really important to me, and that is, I got work to do. I got stuff to fix inside the stalls, get things ready, continue getting things ready for winter. Got a couple projects done today, but I got a lot more. I got some orders to fill. Got to make sure these animals are ready for winter, and more important things to worry about: the elephants and the donkey.
Right. Same here. I mean, we've got things that's going on. The work doesn't stop. Things are happening. And 4 years ago on election night, 2020, I did a live stream with Glenn Tate and Shelby Gallagher. And Glenn Tate is the author of 299 Days. And Shelby Gallagher, she has her own stories, kind of similar genre. And that was a really fun live stream. You can catch that on the Small Scale Life podcast or Small Scale Life YouTube channel. My friend Mr. Tactical Jay and I were doing that, and that was a lot of fun. And we had a really good conversation. We talked about starting a podcast business because he had really ramped up and done a really nice job getting his own podcast growing and doing something, turning some wheels and turning some nickels for him, which was cool. But we're not doing that this year. I'm not doing another presidential live stream unless I'm really tempted to. But I don't think so. I mean, I did politics once upon a time. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again. It's designed to make you crazy, right? It is designed to really amp up your emotions and get you just, it's not worth it, folks. It's not.
Think about how many heart attacks are going to happen from yesterday till Wednesday night. Like, think of all the heart attacks.
Right. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Not going to be good. We did have a candidate at our house last night for dinner. So he was here with his family and we were having a chat, and it was really interesting to get perspective from behind the curtain, like how the sausage is made. And it's really interesting, the data-driven process and door knocking and just all the elements behind the scenes that make a campaign go, and then what the candidate wants to do and then what the party wants you to do. Sometimes they're like two different paths. So that was his passion, is going into politics to try to make a better state, because he was a state candidate. So that was really interesting, to see that. But that's not our passion. That's not what we're talking about today. So we are gonna, unless you have something else to go, you have something else to talk, to ramp us up. Otherwise, we're gonna jump right in it.
No, I think we should find out what passion is. Let's
Right.
start right into this.
Before we do, one more thing. The fancy shirt I have on here, this is my Running Hummingbird shirt. So these are all hummingbirds on my shirt. And I did have a interview with a real estate magazine today, and we talked about our journey from North Minneapolis to just north of here in the Apple River at the landing, or at Eagles Ridge, then moving down to the farm at Driftless Oaks Farm, and then here. So that was a really good conversation. So the magazine will be coming out in January. So hopefully I'll be able to share it with everybody on Small Scale Life to talk about a whole wide, long, interesting journey with lots of twists, turns, and ups and downs. So that'll be a good one. So more to come on that. So that's why I'm wearing my Running Hummingbird shirt today.
Very nice. Very nice.
Right? So yes, passion. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about it. So you want to start with the definition of passion?
Well, I guess I would want to start with what passion is not.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, let's look at it. There's so many. Tom, what do you think passion is? What, in your own words? We're not talking about like a definition.
Right.
Definition. We can go with the definition, but definitions only take you so far.
Right.
Because what's in your heart? What is in Tom's heart about passion?
Right. I would say it's that thing that really, for lack of better words, lights up your scoreboard. That thing you're super interested in. Like if you're not doing anything right now, it's where your brain is going. What is that thing out there that really gets you excited, right? You're thinking about hunting or going fishing or gardening or grooming your dog or I don't know, taking care of kids or making that sourdough bread. It's that thing, that skill, that activity, those things that really where you get really excited, and this is what you're good at. You just feel like you're in the groove. You feel like you're going down grease tracks and it's smooth and you can do this all day and it excites you. For Jules, it was wedding flowers. For me, it's gardening and railroading and some other things. It just, and podcasting. So it's those things where you feel like, man, life is complete. Let me do this. Let me focus on this and I will rule the world. Maybe not that, but you know what I mean? It's right. You get really excited about it and you get animated about it. And this is exciting to you. And maybe nobody else gets it, but boy, this is your thing. That's what I think it is.
Well, let me tell a little story about me, right? So
a little story. I mean, this is you we're talking about, so you could go down a rabbit hole. We know you, man.
Oh, we could definitely go down a rabbit hole. I'll try not to. Okay, so I spent 2 years up in Northeast Minnesota in the Boundary Waters.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing some guiding up there.
Oh wow!
At fishing. I love fishing. I love going out there catching big fish. I love seeing other people catch big fish. That is so much fun to me. But I was having to sit there and wake up, do all the work. There's so much else that went to it than just going fishing. It was just me. If I didn't catch any fish, it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
It's pressure. Like, are these people having a good time? It's not just, well, you got to suffer through this windstorm because this is how we're going to catch the fish. It's you got to pay attention to the people. Right. You got to be entertaining to them. And the little bit of guiding that I did, I started going, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I love fishing,
right?
But I didn't love doing the guiding, the work, right? The business aspect of it. That wasn't me. So just because you have a love for something doesn't mean you should make that your business.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many aspects. It's not just, well, I love to garden. Well, do you like to garden enough that you're going to make a production scale.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe. Do you, Tom, do you love podcasting so much that you would love it, that you'd have 100,000 people download your podcast every single day or every single week
That'd
or
be great.
month even?
That'd be
A
fun.
year? A
That would-
year?
Oh, we can get that.
Okay. We can get that.
We can get that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, are you asking, am I willing to do the work to get there? That's what you're asking, huh? And
Well,
suffer?
a
Sacrifice?
little bit.
Yeah.
There's going to be sacrifice.
Yes.
If it's a passion that you want to sacrifice for, that is where it comes together, right?
Right.
What are you willing to give up?
Right.
You know, are you willing to give up going out to dinner every Friday night? Are you willing to give up finances? Well, I was going to put my finances towards this vacation, but instead we have this business, and I gotta put it over here. Right. What are you willing to give up?
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people, they might have a passion for something, but they're not mentally ready to do it because they're not willing to give up. They're not willing to sacrifice for that aspect. Because well, let's quick talk about what passion is not, right? Passion is not something easy to do. It's just not. It might come easier for you because you enjoy it, but it's not necessarily easy to do, right?
Right.
Some passion is not necessarily a defined goal. It's not like, well, I'm going to have 100,000 people on our podcast and we're going to make a bunch of money. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. Is those numbers actually, you do something's going to happen, but is that going to be something that's going to make you able to do it full time?
Right.
You want to do it full time.
Right.
It's not a goal. There's no goal. There's no like,
no,
I'm going to run to the end of this marathon and then I'm going to stop. No, this isn't about a goal that you're trying to complete.
Right.
And
it's to me, I think, as we're talking about this, it almost it's that burning desire deep inside you that I'm going to do this. No matter what anybody says, I'm doing this. Right. This is the thing I am doing. Then once you've defined that, then there's well, how do I get there? Right. Our dreams need boots, and that's a goal, right? And we're going to be putting boots on the dream, and this is how we're going to do it. And then we've got to execute, and that's all. It's like a whole process that we're going to be working through on the Small Scale Life podcast on the Ant live stream. But yeah, this is kind of what I see. And you're right. I mean, there's challenges, right? There's challenges. Anyway, do go on.
Yeah. So there's constantly going to be these challenges. It's going to be okay with my business.
Yeah.
I've lost some friends or lost contact with friends because they weren't fitting into what I needed to do. I've lost special weekends. First I was like, well, I want to have my own business, but I want to have weekends.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And first I was like, well, I want to do this business, but I want to just be shipping the meat out. I don't want to have to go to farmers markets because I want my weekends. Sure. I don't want people coming out to the farm because it's just a pain in the butts. And I want to I own my own business. I just have to relax. That's all I got to do. I just get to relax and the money just comes rolling in.
Right. It didn't work like that?
No, not at all. I'm working more now than I ever had before. It's
right.
I don't even keep track of the hours of the day.
Right.
Because I could be working on my business at 5:30 in the morning and I'll still be working on my business 9:30 at night.
Sure.
Now, there's other things I'm doing during the day, and yes, I have the ability. I can, you know what? I have a few minutes. I can go take a nap. Oh, well, you
Right.
know what? Maybe I should eat today.
Mm, mhm.
Um, eh, but then there's times that's like all I want to do is just sit down, and then all of a sudden it's like I get another phone call. It's not only a phone call, it's a phone call from a customer, and it's not only a phone call from a customer. I have to be happy. I have to be cheerful. I have to say, "Hi, how's it, Tom? Good to hear from you. Okay, yeah. What can I do for you? How can I help you out?" And I'm sitting there in the background, it's about ready to fall asleep. Um, that is what it takes to run a business. Now,
Right.
do you want that passion that you have, whether it's painting or it's a hobby?
Mhm.
And your hobbies can make you a little bit of money,
Right.
but do you want it to be a real business that makes you that's what you want to do? That's something you only you can answer that.
Right.
Is it something that you want to be all encompassing to make something happen? You know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, story time, right? So for years, my parents had this idea of having their own business, being able to move up to the lake country up near Spooner, Wisconsin, which is up toward in the north of Wisconsin, and figure that out and how they could do it, and figure out something that they were passionate about, because both had jobs that were okay. Nah, they kind of hated them. To do something more aligned with their goals and aligned with their interests and their beliefs and such. But they never could quite pull the trigger, just because, I don't think they were willing to, the sacrifice was big, right? The benefits, right? Healthcare. And my dad had some things that he needed: the healthcare and the health insurance and the long-term stability, potentially. I mean, what's stable these days, right? But long-term stability and the retirement and the pensions and all that kind of stuff. So there's all these barriers that kind of get in your way before you pull that trigger and go full time in. And, if you're following that passion, maybe it isn't a full-time jump in like you've done. Maybe it is a side hustle, like we've talked about before a couple weeks ago about side hustles. Maybe it's a different way of going about it, or maybe you find something adjacent to it that you can do. That's kind of where I was going with it a little bit, but I think you're on a roll. Keep going, man.
No, and what are you willing to sacrifice? So
Yeah.
are you willing to sacrifice that safety
Yeah.
net of having that
Security.
full-time job?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that security is priceless. Um, are, is your spouse on board? Okay, well,
Right. Oh yeah.
think about it. Is Jules going to sit there and go, Tom, we kind of need to pay these bills. Like, how are we going to make this happen? I've been very fortunate with my wife Lisa, that she was willing to say, okay, yes, we I want to see you succeed in this.
Right.
But then, and so she sacrificed, the whole family has sacrificed to make this happen
Right. Yeah.
so far. But there's a bigger goal, a larger vision per
Right.
se. And I wrote that vision out. I
Mm,
wrote,
the
and I
power
go,
of writing it out. Yes. Making
wrote,
it reality so you can look at it.
right, going, and then filling in these gaps, because all of a sudden you write it out, you have a plan, you can start filling in those gaps. You can start filling it in and saying, oh, well, I missed this point. I missed that point. What are the things that I missed? And
Mhm.
to be honest with you, you could have the best plan ever. In the words of Mike Tyson,
Yes.
everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And my God, if you're in business for yourself, even if it's just a small side business, you get punched in the face a lot. And then you also get kicked in the nuts. Then you get stabbed in the side, stabbed in the back.
Oh,
Uh,
man, sounds glorious. Why wouldn't anybody wanna do that, right?
well,
Oh,
I mean, it's business.
yeah,
What do you plan on doing? Like, that's your passion. Are
yeah.
you willing to sit there and work through all that shit that sits there and kicks you in the side, kicks you in the
Mhm.
nuts, stabs you in the back, are you willing to do that
Right.
to be successful, to get to
Mm,
a goal, not
right.
the end goal? There's never going to be an end goal. I think
Mm,
that's one of the other things that people always sit there and go, well, I'm going to create a business. We're going to make $100,000 a year selling ice cream, and that's it. Well, it's always changes. It's
right.
never the same. It's not,
Right.
it is a living entity in and of itself. And that was probably one of the biggest surprises that I've had, is realizing it's not just, oh, well, we fill these boxes up and ship the meat out and it works. Like, things are changing day by day, every single day. Got to stay on top of it. But in order to do that, you have to have a like for it. You have
Mhm.
to have a passion for it beyond just, I just make $1 here. I mean, so what aspect is your passion in? My passion, I discovered, is running business, like
Mm.
dealing with business, talking with people, going to the farmer's market. I didn't want to go to the farmer's market. I got into the farmer's market. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
I know.
talking to the people.
Yes, I see you. I've seen you in action. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, and that's interesting because Jules and I were talking over dinner just a little bit ago, and we're like, and Jules asked me, so is the meat business his passion? And I'm like, well, I think so. I mean, I think he likes food. I know he likes food, and he's a good cook. I mean, what is that passion, right? So your passion is more helping people, talking to people, getting to know people, building the community kind of thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Right. Building the
Okay.
community, learning about people, talking to people, just being gregarious me, putting my meat in people's mouths, just sitting here, have a snack stick sample. Get your mind
Yes.
out of the gutter, Tom.
Yeah, well,
Come
I'm
on.
sorry. It went there. I just went there, man.
You know,
Well, I have the meat man on my show, I mean, this is it's just it's bump set spike, brother.
yep. But no, it's being able to interact and being able to be the person that provides people with that 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 delicious protein that they wouldn't
Hmm.
get, and they can't get anywhere else.
Right.
It's difficult for them to find. And I'm the guy that has it. I'm the meat supplier. I'm the guy that sits there and goes, you can trust that this is good for your body. You can trust where it comes from. And I enjoy hearing back from people. Oh, that steak was delicious. Oh, I made this stew. Oh, that chicken was just fantastic.
Hmm.
Hearing it over and over again. It bumps my ego. Let's
Right.
flat out. It's about my ego.
And
Um,
see, I figured that you like the regenerative agriculture, you
mhm,
like homesteading, and you figured out a way to do it. The vehicle was meat, but it was all about more the regen ag, the homestead, and this is the vehicle to get you there. And it wasn't thinking about Adam's connection with the community, and this is where the passion is, and the meat is the vehicle to get you there for that. I didn't. That's kind of where my brain went, but I guess I
no,
was wrong.
no, that's exactly how it started,
Right.
right? My original passion was, oh, well, I want to make all these yummy dishes and do videos and have fun doing it.
Hmm.
And that I wasn't able to make that aspect of my business work as well as I wanted to
Hmm.
and be as profitable as I wanted to. And I'm like, well, I need something to sell. And it's just one opportunity. It morphs. Like I said,
Yeah.
my original plan was, like, doing on TikToks, I don't dance, but I do these really good food videos.
Right.
And it just was like, man, this takes me all day to do it.
Hmm.
And I didn't have a passion for the video aspect of it. I enjoyed it, but it took so much drive for me to make that happen, where I needed something else that gave me some drive
Hmm.
to take those next steps. And there's other people that they have more drive for it, and that's
Hmm.
fine. And I was it. Do I still enjoy doing a video here and there? Absolutely. But you have to be doing 2, maybe 3 videos a week
Yeah.
of just high quality videos. Then you have to do other videos on top of that,
Right.
explain yourself. It's a 10, 12 hour a day job. Like,
Right.
to be an influencer,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it is. And when you're just starting out, they're going to keep you at like 200 views per video. And I look at yours and you're up to, you had some go viral. And I was looking at those. I was like, dang, how did that happen? And I'm sitting here at 200. And it's like, yeah, you have to keep going, right? Or you have to have that little hook and that little thing to really, that people really want to see. And clearly some of your sandwiches and your burgers and your, that stuff was really good. So people like to see that. Stupid simple, right?
Right. But how do you make that profitable? And that's one of the things that I found out that, all right, I don't have a product that was profitable, or I could sell someone else's products and make it profitable for them. But then what am I doing? I'm just working for someone else.
Yeah.
In some aspects. So, and we're all working for someone, right? But for me, it was like, no, I'm not going to be able to do it, make money influencing. And that's one of the things several of my friends and I realized. Although I had a friend, he had 750,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
And he was using it to sell meat. He sold like 2 cows a year off of TikTok. That's it.
Wow.
So that's where I was like, well, for the time investments, am I going to get that investment in return? Part of it. And so trying to figure out how I could make that happen.
Right.
So yes, I love homesteading. I love gardening. I love raising animals. I love putting all those products the garden, the animals, the wild edibles, put them all together into a great dish. Here, eat this. And I found a way to make it fun for me, that I enjoy, that I had passion. And that was, well, there was a big opportunity that I discovered along the way. And it was something I always enjoyed doing, working with the animals. I started going, well, I could do this. What can I do? How can I make this happen? So I started I found out ways that I could make things happen, and had to do some things that I didn't want to do.
Yeah, there's always that. It's work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they don't call work love. It's work. I mean, you can love your work, but it's work. There's always the things like we talked about last week, the details, the boring details. You have to get into those and solve them. Otherwise, you won't be working. You'll be done.
The grind.
Yes. Yeah. No, I understand. I appreciate this because, as I look at my own career and what I do, they don't teach railroading in civil engineering school. I mean, I was going to be an architect once upon a time. And then I realized that wasn't quite my path, because colors and stuff, it's like, oh, well, hot pink doesn't go with blue. What's that all about? But anyway, decided to go for civil engineering and kind of worked my way, because I always wanted to get into railroading, and I figured out a way to get there through civil engineering. And I had to go through the roundabout way of consulting, doing traffic engineering and roadway design, because that's where all the engineering is. And I had to kind of work my way around it. And I kind of built my own practice in the consulting world of doing crossing closures and quiet zones and, the stuff that I like, that I'm comfortable with and that I really am passionate about. And then, I was manager of engineering for what's going to be a $4 billion light rail project. And I'm like, little old me is manager of engineering of that. I mean, wow, how did I get here? Right. I didn't think I was the best engineer out there, but here I am doing that. And then I kind of worked my way into this job. And it's been the best job ever. I mean, next year will be my 10th year there. And, I've got the ear of my leadership in Washington, D.C., because I've done this stuff from consulting for the railroads, from the public agencies, and now for the FRA for 10 years. So it's different. And I figured out a way to do it. And there was no set path. I just kind of made it up and did it and kind of worked my way through the corporate world. So, I mean, I could go out and hang out my own shingle and do it that way, but this is the way I found to get stability and benefits and do it that way. So, I figured out a passion. I liked history. I like maps. I like railroad stuff. And hey, let's do it this way. So I kind of made my own path.
Right. And the path will unfold in front of you. And
yeah.
Do you like doing this? Do you not like doing this? Are you, and the real thing is, are you willing to do the shit? Are you willing to shovel the shit and work in the mud and be out there on those cold, rainy days and hear the no's over and over again, more and more no's, and just are the no's worth the yes?
Yeah.
Is the shit worth the flowers that end up growing?
Right.
I mean, what are you willing to sacrifice? It definitely comes down to what are you as an individual willing to sacrifice?
Right. Well, and like we talked about, a willing partner in crime, your spouse, are they part of that? Are they part of that journey? Do they want to be part of that journey? Ready or not, they might be part of that journey. And are they supportive of that? Lisa supportive in your case. So I was the partner in crime on Jules' wedding flower business. And so I'm working all week as in consulting or the manager of engineering or even the FRA. And then on my weekend, suddenly I've got to be flower delivery guy, because she needs help and I can carry stuff. I'm not going to design stuff, but I can carry stuff. And so I got kind of brought into that world, and that did create some friction because, hey, I want to go out and garden. I got to mow my grass. I got to maybe plant some comfrey or something, and that's what I want to do. But nope. You're going to be delivering flowers today, and that creates conflict. So I was very, very happy when we didn't launch a wedding floral you pick 'em at the farm, because man, that was going to be stressful over time. Right.
And I'm sure you're kind of one of these guys, kind of like me. You'll find the fun in anything, right? And there's so many aspects that you'd probably really enjoy. You'd probably sit there and if it takes off, like any business can take off anywhere,
right?
With enough marketing, enough advertisement,
right?
It's can you sustain yourself until it becomes sustainable by itself,
right? Yeah.
So, but I'm sure you would have been out there talking to people. Oh yeah, these daffodils, aren't they beautiful? And let me tell you a story.
Sometimes I was very focused on delivering and getting the hell out of there. So, I didn't want to be around when the bride and the party shows up, because then it's like, oh, we're delayed because now Jules got to go talk to them. It's a customer. You got to go talk to your customer and pin on corsages and boutonnieres and do all that stuff. And it's like, oh, just want to get done because I got things I want to do too. So it wasn't my passion. It was my lovely wife's passion, but it was not my passion. So,
but you have a passion for your wife, so they know that. There you go.
Too true, my friend. Too true. Absolutely.
It's amazing what spouses do for each other to see each other happy,
right?
And to lift them up. Like that was one of the things I enjoyed working on the homestead. I enjoyed working at home. There's things that I absolutely love to do, but I wasn't able to do it because I didn't have time. Sitting there, waking up at 5 a.m. so I could be at work at 6:30, 7 o'clock, work all day, get off at 3:30, come home, not be home till like 5 o'clock. It's dark by the time I get home this time of year.
Right.
And then be too tired and too worn out and be hurting.
Right.
So like I was 39 years old walking around with the cane because my back was being thrown out. My sciatica was just horrible. So what does your body allow you to do? Because hey, look, I love to go play football. I think football will be a lot of fun. I'm not built for it, and I'm 42 years old. It's not going to happen. My time has come and gone. I think yours has too. Hey, Tom.
It has. And, my dad played 7 years in the NFL he was drafted by the Houston Oilers and the Denver Broncos. And he had broken every finger. He had his knee operated on 3 times. He had broken his back at some point, probably on a kickoff return. I mean, his body was a wreck. I mean, he made a lot of great connections and a lot of great stories from that, but man, that took a toll. And he was following his passion doing that. And he told us, we asked him, Dad, would you do it again? I mean, look at your body. It's just falling apart. And he said, absolutely. It's opened up so many doors. I've done so many things. I've seen so many things. I've met so many people. I mean, when he was at Rochester Mayo, he was in there with Walter Payton. And they were having a great conversation about the NFL and all that good stuff. And, it's just, you're in a different class by that decision and that passion and following that passion. Unfortunately for NFL players, because you're being in a car wreck every play, your life gets very short. And, he passed away when he was 53. So, you find a lot of NFL guys, they pass early because they've like just beat the hell out of themselves in these, for the love of the game, so, and they didn't get paid what they get paid now. That's for sure.
Well, obviously, I mean, you didn't inherit much. Look at you.
That's pretty funny. And I'm about to ready to flip you off, but yes, that's true. I got the good looks. I got his knees though, which kind of sucks. So
yeah, you definitely got the good looks, good for you, bud. Good for you. Good for
I think you're really right about some of these cons. I mean, the financial stability of it, just jumping in head first. This is where I think starting out as a hobby or side hustle can start to reveal. You can start to reveal some of those things. Where is the path? What is the thing? I want to provide this whole world of goods or this whole world of services, but maybe only this one is going to be the path forward. Maybe it's not all the meat in the world. Maybe it's just, this really good barbecue or something, and maybe that's the path. I think, going in some of us are forced to go in all the way, all chips in at once, but, not having that pressure coming down on you because you were under a lot of pressure there for a while and it was hard,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was a lot. And there's still a lot of pressure, but
Mm-hmm.
it was difficult at first.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's still difficult.
Yeah.
I just got used to it being difficult.
Right.
And I started finding other passions as I go through, passion for building a business,
Mm-hmm.
The passion for making those connections because, kind of like what your dad was, I'm sure your dad didn't like getting hurt.
No.
But he was willing to sacrifice that
Mm-hmm.
to make those connections that he did in life.
Right.
How did he build himself up?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the practices. He probably woke up and I don't want to go to practice. I don't want to do this. But man, game day showed up.
Yeah.
And to hear that roar of the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie North Dallas 40?
No.
Okay. There's a scene where the guy who I think was a wide receiver, he's in the bathtub and he's just, taking a cold plunge essentially because he's just so beat up. My dad said it was like that, and especially playing in the Astrodome with the AstroTurf, get a rug burn every time you fell on the grass. So yeah, never good, man. So you're just one big scab. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. So we're talking about passion. I mean, and what I've talked about with my friend Greg Burns from Nature's Image Farm is having that big why. This is the why am I doing this? This is why. Is that the same or are they different? What do you think?
The why is extremely necessary.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Because that gets you through the really hard times. You're embracing the suck and the chaos. And you're going, why am I doing this? Oh, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. Is it the same?
It's not the same.
Yeah.
And the why changes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The passion itself is going to change every single time.
Mm.
Sometimes, kind of going back to your dad, I'm sure there was times that it was, oh, to get to the Super Bowl, wouldn't that be awesome? Like
Yeah.
at one time, it was to get to the NFL would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That, or even to get into college football, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. And
Right.
it kept growing. Oh, and then there's times that's like these mini challenges, where,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to be up against Big Joe Blow, and he's going to knock me over.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there and pummel him.
Yep.
He's not going to get an inch.
Yep. Yep.
And there he goes.
Mhm.
He had that drive. There was that why at that time.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I have my little games that I sit there and play. And every entrepreneur, everyone with some sort of passion has these little games that they play in their head. Some of us will actually say that we're playing these games in our own head. So when I'm at a market, I'll sit there. One of my games, it's 10 no's in a row. I
Oh,
try to get 10 people to say no to me in a row. Guess what? I'm up to I get up to maybe about 5,
yeah.
and then it just falls apart, and then someone says yes, and
Dang it, I'll just have to take your money.
yeah,
Darn.
yeah. So,
Shoot. Would
but
you like some more? I mean, since I'm starting over at 0, you might as well buy more, right? I mean, come on.
right.
Did you try the pulled pork? I mean, delicious.
And it's trying to find these little, like, okay,
Yeah.
can I what's I need to give away all these snack stick samples, or I want to hit on this. I want to hit $500 at this market.
Mm.
It's a slow day. You know what? I'm bored. Tired. I don't want to do this. I'm going to sell to the other people that are around me. So it's such a slow day. I'm going to sell to all the different people,
vendors?
but all the other vendors.
Wow.
And I'll sit there and go, I pulled up $50 off the vendors, sit there and be like, hey, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
All these little tiny challenges, one after another. That's what I end up doing.
Right.
And it's fun. To me, it is fun to sit there and go, I won.
Yeah.
You'll see me sometimes. I'll have someone walking by, and they just kind of did a half look, and I go,
Yep.
hey, I'll get them come back. Hey, try this, my honey barbecue beef stick. Here, try this out. Oh, this is really good. Isn't that good? Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm talking to them about different things. Oh yeah. Oh, they didn't even see me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were just like, okay, nodding. They didn't even notice I was there. So I got them to slow down. All of a sudden, someone that was going to walk right past me, I end up sitting there selling $50, $100 worth of product to them, or even if it's just $10.
Sure.
It's something. I'm like, I look at the person next to me. You see that? that was all me. That's me standing there pedaling.
And having been at your the Dousman Farmers Market, I can confirm, because it is a little game, and I know you do that with the other vendors because you have a great rapport with them, and you guys are all kind of like, oh yeah, did you see that? Yeah, oh, yeah, that's totally cool. Watch this. Hold my beer. Watch this. Right.
Yep.
The next game. So, and I think having those games is a good strategy, because there's another thing that can happen with all passionate. I mean, think about a meteorite flying through the air. Eventually it burns out, right? And burnout is a thing. And if you burn too hot too fast, you can burn out real quick. And you were hopping from farmers market to farmers market to farmers market to farmers market to farmers market. And how do you not burn out, man? I mean, geez.
Oh, how do you not burn out? I don't know. Part of it is just knowing that this is going to pass. This is not the end game. If this was going to be the end game, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
But knowing that this isn't the end, that there's bigger plans in the future, that okay, part of it is, going, looking at the checkbook or the record, the bills and everything, like, we don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I better bust my
Crank it
ass
up.
tomorrow.
Yep.
When I go to a farmer's market or a show or anything else, or when I even have just people here, I put it on as a performance.
Mm.
This is me performing today.
Hmm.
It's not just, this is my job. This is my performance.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's part of my drive is I get to perform in front of people.
Right.
It's when I was doing heating and cooling, there really wasn't a performance. It
Yeah.
was me sitting up on a roof, cranking away at stuff.
Yep.
No, boring. I perform. That's what happens when I'm at market selling.
Mhm.
I'm performing. That's just it.
Well, even on this podcast, I mean, that's the way I see this podcast, the blog, all this. It's a sermon, right? It's a performance, and it's amazing that you can touch, 1,000 people, right? It's a mega church, and that's every week. You can touch a lot of people with what we're talking about and the things that were our little stories and our, doing whatever, and it's pretty amazing that it is a performance, right? And you're trying to inspire somebody to move, and especially you're doing that too. You're inspiring them to buy a meat snack, a bunch of meat sticks, right? So we're inspiring people to move from their path to maybe go over here for a little bit and try something new. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the games, having fun, understanding that this is our calling, our passion. And having that big why back there. I think those things all come together.
Well, you're gonna fail flat out.
That's
I'm
true.
gonna tell you flat out.
Yep.
I don't care who you are, you're gonna fail. There's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be so many failures. It's the one that gets back up
Yeah.
and keeps on going.
Right.
And that direction of that goal is going to change a little bit. It's going to go to the right. It's going to go to the left.
Yep.
It's a moving target, and you have to be that heat-seeking missile that is on the fly going, there's an opportunity. I'm going to go after that opportunity and slowly figure out which way you're going to go. Like, it doesn't matter. You want to sell wine? Let's say we're talking about it earlier. Mead.
Right.
Let's go with mead. Well, I'm just going to sell mead. Well, okay, great. You're going to make some mead and you're going to sell it. How is that all going to work? Like, who are you going to sell it to? What you're going to say here no's. You're going to hear all sorts of bullshit. It's just frustrating.
Right.
But can you get back up? Can you hear a bunch of no's and go, all right, I'm going to keep going?
Yeah.
It's one of those questions that you got to ask yourself if you have enough passion to make it go. And whatever you don't have in passion, you just got to make it up in perseverance, and that passion will show back up. When you do get the wins, there's days that I'm sitting there recently, a couple weeks ago, we had something that just kicked me in the gonad so bad.
Right.
Like, okay, what are we going to do? Like,
right.
I'm $30,000 of negative here. How am I going to make this work? Because I got $20,000 worth of product, $10,000 that's owed to me, and I can't make these numbers work. And then I have $20,000 that I owe someone else. All of a sudden, it's like I'm working with big numbers all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And to me, these are big numbers.
They're big numbers. Yeah, there's nothing to sneeze at there, brother.
I mean, sit there and like, we're looking at 50 grand in total between inventory, what customers owe me. Like, wow, this is scary. Like, if this fails right now, and I have other people counting on me on the back end, I'm like, if this fails, I guess I can go back to doing heating and cooling. I'm going to hate it. Like, these are all thoughts in my head.
Right.
But then I'm like, okay, stop, think about what we can do. I still enjoy what I'm doing. how can I keep doing what I enjoy doing?
Yeah.
And that's when you really figure out, I found my passion, is
Right.
when you are down in the mud. You're like, how am I going to keep this going? We're going to have to really tighten up our belts.
Mhm.
What are we going to do? And then you're like,
Right.
oh crap. Guess what? I found it. It's just going to show up. It's not, it, you might be great in needlepoint. And I'll tell you what, anything you do, you can make into a business if you have enough drive, passion, and perseverance to make it happen.
Right. Absolutely. One thing that we've noticed, Jules and I noticed, and I know we're getting long in the show here, and it might be a separate thing we talk about later or that I can talk about on the Small Scale Life podcast, but we've noticed a lot of young people, especially young men, are really struggling with direction, with passion, with hobbies. It's, they've grown up in the video game era, the iPhone era, the internet era, and they just, like us, you and I, we were outside a lot and we were doing this or doing that, or, I got a love for railroads and history, and you had fishing and, all the things you're interested in. And we're struggling with some of these young folks that, where they're really struggling trying to figure out what they want, what they even like to do besides video games. And I think, there are some things that we can channel them towards and get them going in the right direction. And I think the big one to start is really doing that self-reflection, thinking about what really excites them, what really lights them up. And I as a hiring manager, I always ask the question, because, oh, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Boring. Nobody wants to know that. But I really wanted to see somebody get lit up about something. What do you really like to do when you're not doing work? And I got some of the coolest answers. Oh, I rebuild cars. I do this, I do that. And it's like, cool. All right. I got your vibe. I think we really need to have, that's the place to start, is what do we really like to do? What do you really like to do? And what are you listening to? And what really lights you up? And that's where we start with folks, and to start moving them down the path towards finding their passion. And maybe it won't be their career or business, but it'll get them off from zero, right? They'll start heading in a direction instead of just being at the point they're at right now. What do you think?
No, I've seen that issue myself. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of it is people don't have skill sets.
Mm.
They are afraid. The school system, I think, is partially to do with it. The parents are partially to do with it. Society, uh, like they haven't done anything.
Mm.
There's a couple of people I'm thinking of in particularly. I'm not going to mention just in case they see the show, but they haven't
That
done
jerk was talking
anything.
about me, man. Come on.
Yes, I'm talking about you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yep. Talking about you right there. Okay. You can now you're that
Hey,
important
you
that you
driving
can
down
talk
the
about.
road. You know who you are. We're talking to you right now. So listen up.
People don't have these kids, they don't have any they don't do anything. It
Mm.
used to be Boy Scouts and Cub
Yeah.
Scouts and fishing and hunting and outside and inside, and let's build something. Well, when you're young, you have no clue that you didn't know what the hell you're doing. When you're
Mm.
older, you also you go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Well,
Mm.
there's YouTube video,
Right.
there's YouTube University to help you out.
Right.
It's one of the things. Well, we played baseball. Well, they play baseball. They're so in all these sports. They need to do things that that accomplish something,
Mm-hmm.
right? That it has an end goal accomplishment, not just like not just sitting there. Well, we did the best we could, and we almost won the game. Like, there's some great things that can be learned out of sports,
Mm-hmm.
but to sit there and see something that you can hold in
Mm-hmm.
your hands, and go, man, this is useful,
Mm,
or you completed a task and like, this is awesome. This is useful. People need to feel like they're useful. Video games, they give you those endorphins. They sit there and go, hey, I accomplished something, but
right.
you don't have anything in your hands that
Nothing tangible.
really, nothing tangible,
Mm,
absolutely nothing. And
mm,
that's where teaching how to garden, teaching how to build something, how to fix something, that's a tangible skill.
mhm.
That's a skill that's like, wow, I actually have a skill set, not just, well, clicking away on my computer. Oh, yeah, I beat Candy Crush. Awesome. Now what? Do you get a reward for Candy Crush? How much did you spend on Candy Crush? Um, and I think that that's one of the things that we really need to instill in our kids. Like, that was one of the coolest things today, Tom. I spent today with my son for a couple hours. We're putting in a wire
Mm,
to electrify the back fence. We
mm.
have a little switch on it. He's 8 years old, and he learned how to do basic electricity. He learned how to dig a ditch. Digging ditches suck. I
No,
don't care who
terrible.
you
Yeah.
are, it sucks.
That's
But
why
he
they
dug
always
it,
put the new electrician on that. Here's a shovel. Start digging. What about the back? Nope. Start digging.
and he did it. He did it
Mhm.
well. He understands now how basic electricity works. Okay, we switch this switch off, and this no electricity gets to the back fence. Now we turn it on. Okay, now electricity is going to get back there.
Hmm.
Now, if you touch that wire, you're going to get shocked. Go ahead, touch the wire. Um,
Did he?
no, no.
No.
Okay. So this is how, real quick. This is how you test a wire without we have a little device that tells you
Okay. Mhm.
how well, but you can take a blade of grass.
Okay.
I would recommend it be at least 6 to 8 inches long. Probably 10 inches is better. 10 to 12
Sure.
is better.
Sure. Sure.
And you touch the tip of that grass, and you can start feeling it. And the closer you get to it, the harder it hits you. And at first, it's going to be this little tickle. And then as you get closer and closer, next time you're over, we'll take a video of you with a
That's
really short
okay.
piece of grass.
Yeah, really. You've drawn the short piece of grass. Yes, I see how this is. I see how this is, my friend. Then
Hey,
roll me in a cow pie, and we're good to go. So
yeah, if it drives back 1,000-pound cow
yeah.
that doesn't
Mhm.
think very, I imagine what it'll do to you.
Oof.
I've
Oof.
gotten hit by it before.
Yeah.
It's a,
Mhm. It doesn't sound like fun, brother. Well, and I was telling Julie this the other yesterday too. No, it was today. Today at dinner, I was looking through some of our old files, and when we were doing in 2019, we did the Renew You. It was trying to get you set up, almost like the whole 30, and I found one of our first drafts of the 24-hour plan, and there was actually other sheets that were attached to that. And I was thinking, this would be a really good self-reflection, gratitude practice, starting to put those pieces in place. So to kind of bring you along that journey to go from, here where you don't know anything, what you want to do or anything, and then you're starting to move on the path. And I've really been thinking about pulling that up and finishing it and then giving that to you to take a look at, and then we can tweak it a little bit and then release that to the wild and see what folks think. So that's something that I think adults need that too. It's not just the youth, but the adults too. There's going to be a lot of change coming up. I just feel it. There's going to be a lot of change, a lot of people moving around, a lot of things happening. Like it or not, ready or not, here we come with new administration, new directions, everything, and we don't know what's going to happen. So, start figuring this stuff out, and why not? Or why not
Mhm.
just for bettering yourself, right?
Right.
Learn to grow, be a little better every day.
And that's, you have to really enjoy change when
Yeah.
and once you find your passion, once you find what you're meant to do, guess what? It's a journey.
Yeah.
There's no destination in mind.
Yep.
You might make a stop here and there on the way going, oh, this is really cool. I got here. But if it's true passion, you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
You,
Well, and
you-
I think that's where we get tangled up too, because market conditions change, things change all the time, the rules of the game change. Just like your farmers market, maybe their costs go up, or maybe they close it down this year because of X, Y, or Z, or maybe who knows, another
Right.
meat supplier comes in that's undercutting you. There's all these variables that change.
right. I mean, in all reality, you have to love who you become on this journey,
Mm,
and you're probably already doing your passion. You just don't know it yet,
that's a good point.
but you have to do a lot of things. And
Mhm.
or at least that's how I found my passion is my ADHD. That's why I think something like 60% of entrepreneurs are ADHD. It's because they
Really?
do a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
They're constantly doing all sorts of different things. And they're like, I really like this one. This one really, really sets with me. I'm going to do this one. I like it until they spaz off. And, but as an entrepreneur, you can do all sorts of other things too.
Right.
But yeah, it's, you got to really love who you become on that journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a journey of discovery, right? And I think you're right too that you've got to be patient. You got to work at it. I think you got to pivot. If things aren't working, you got to be able to pivot. And we certainly have had our squirrel moments on this podcast, have we not, my friend? The boredom show, we were pivoting all over the place. Oh man, R.I.P. Peanut. Anyway,
Our rest in peace, Peanut. Yeah.
Peanut. Yep. And and start with a side hustle. It doesn't have to be full blown, 24/7, 365. You can do a smaller, start to test things, right? Start to just try. Just try.
Do you know where this whole meat thing started? Was me
No, I
doing
don't.
jellies and jams
Oh,
and eggs. Guess what? I don't sell jellies or jams.
no.
I don't sell eggs.
No, you don't.
That's where this whole thing, like, it started. Jellies and jams. Oh, well, I used to make jellies and jams. I love these recipes.
Huh.
And it's just, I started getting my toes wet. I failed miserably. You're making like $4 an hour, and it was just terrible. Just terrible.
I
Like,
had
it
no
wasn't worth the
idea.
risk.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And then I'm like, well, eggs. And then I started doing a bunch of research about eggs. Eggs got me, I think it was like, oh, I'm going to have to sell these eggs for $7 a dozen.
Mm.
When Joe Schmo down the road selling theirs for $3 a dozen. Like, this.
And the quick trip is at 2, or 3,
I think they're at 99 cents at the time.
Yeah.
And like, okay, how is this going to work? And I got to have, you base it off of the largest amount of feed you can buy, or the smallest amount of large amount of feed you can buy. So that was a 1 ton of feed at a time.
Holy
Because
smokes.
that was most economical. How much does that take? Well, it takes about 500 birds to feed before that feed goes bad.
Wow.
So, that's going to bring your rate just the numbers just sucked. And I was just like, how do you do
have
it?
one of those long pole barns, with that many chickens, and then you've got to go in there and get all the eggs daily, multiple times daily. Oh my gosh, just the numbers, the economics of that is just
right. The payback is just, it takes forever. And I'm just like, and there's every Joe Schmo has an egg stand in front of their house. I literally passed 4 egg stands, dropped my son off to school less than 5 miles away. It's just, it's difficult to really stay there. So, but I learned, I got better, I built confidence. I started realizing what I do enjoy, what I don't enjoy. I thought I didn't, and even stuff I didn't think I really enjoyed, like going to farmers market, spending all my time setting up, because the hourly rate at a farmers market's not there. Okay, how do you like that? Goes down a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Probably for another time. Um,
Yeah, because then we can start talking about systems thinking and developing systems where it doesn't take 5 hours to set up and tear down. It's just quick, boom, 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 and you're really quick at what you do. I'm telling you. I mean,
oh,
systems thinking is going to be a fun one to talk about, man.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even just sitting there, how to sell to someone and a
Mhm.
systems approach on
Yep.
selling to someone, and how to gain that customer and being in front of that person. It's that's going to be a really fun one to sit there and go, hey, look at this, and
Mm,
how that drives on.
right.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Should we wrap this one up?
I think so. I think we will. I mean, we're over the hour mark. There is a whole lot more to talk about with this whole topic, though, for sure. I mean, we didn't even talk about mentorships and mentors, and we touched on YouTube University a little bit. There's just a whole bunch of avenues that we can go down in another time. But yeah, this is good. This was a good one. I not that anyone's been bad, but there's a lot to say on this one because we've both found our paths in different ways, and here we are, and getting better, I think, as we go. Not only on this podcast, but in life, right? Learn, do, grow, be a little better every day. So, what you got cooking this week? You going to be anywhere exciting or important?
Right now, on Thursday, we have the inaugural farmers market at Java Twist.
Oh, okay.
That's in Waukesha. It's my friend Steve's beverage company. This sounds a little weird. Trust me, it's a trust me type deal. He does coffee lemonade or coffee and fruit juices.
Huh.
And it's like a 50-50 ratio, and it works. It really does. It's a refreshing, caffeinated, but as I don't know, as I get older, like drinking straight lemonade, I can't do it.
Oh, Arnie Palmer, all the way. It's just too sweet, right? You got to cut it.
Right. You got to cut it.
Yeah.
So instead of using tea, use coffee. Well, then you get that little bit of caffeine buzz also with it, that little bit of bitter and a little bit of sweet.
Huh.
Oh, delicious. He does some really cool combinations. Apple, I think he does a chocolate one also.
Interesting.
So yeah, he does a great job at it. And anyways, he's starting a farmers market, an indoor farmers market over there in Waukesha. And so if anyone's interested, come on over. It's right off the Silvernail.
Cool.
Come say hi to me.
Yeah. And those are every Tuesday, you said?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
I
shall be in that area next week. I'll be in that right over there next week.
Every Thursday. Perfect.
Thursday. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta go pick.
I get there once in a while. You bet. There's a lot of trains that run through Waukesha.
Yeah, I gotta go drop off some pigs over to the butcher on Thursday morning. It's gonna be a long day. Thursday's a long day.
Thursday's a long day.
That's the basic for me. It's going to be a little bit of a slower week, but probably be pushing on some other things. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I'm going to be gearing up to head over that way for next week. I'm doing a little speech, a presentation. Well, not a speech, but yeah. What else is cooking here? I mean, we're really kind of shutting down outside stuff. Just the weather's turning. I do need to do cold plunges, so we're going to be doing some of those again. The weather is getting nice for that, and I think there's a couple more things I want to talk about, so I might have a bonus show this week, so that would be good. And notice we did not have any Supernatural this week. I mean, folks, if you missed last week's Ant Live, right around the 39:12 mark, 39 minutes 12 seconds. Adam's talking, and I was getting a drinky drink, and all of a sudden something came down from the ceiling, and I have no idea what that was. Nothing landed on the desk. We actually lost audio for like 20 seconds, or I lost audio. And if you listen to the podcast, I put in the crunching leaves sound. So that's what that was, is I actually lost audio. So I don't know what that was. That was like somebody reaching out and saying hello right before Halloween, because the veil is very thin. So check that out. Take a listen to episode 5, or I think it's episode 233 of the Small Scale Life podcast. So I did pick up last week 12 half barrels poly tanks, and I'm going to build some planters with those, and some of them might show up on Marketplace here. So, start small, right?
Yep. You got to start.
Right on. So awesome. Well, I appreciate all of you who are here, and feel free to leave a comment. Really appreciate all the live audience that's been hanging out and listening to us talk. And, I really appreciate it. So hope you all had a great Halloween. Welcome to November. Get some warm cider. We did get our fireplace working, so that is awesome. Now I need to get some firewood. So there's a lot of projects that are coming that are just little projects and things going on here. So even though we're butting up the garden, there's other things going on. So yeah, it's all good. You'll see it on social media and such. So all right, my man. So this is Tom from Small Scale Life. Remember to learn, do, grow, be a little better every day. And this is
Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
Absolutely. So make sure you check out Modern Frontier Farms. Go get meat. He does ship. It is very good. We have had some. We're going to make some more this week. It is delicious. We love it. And get out and get some of that get some of Adam's meat and put it in your mouth. Sorry, it just came out.
My meat came out?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
So remember, friends, to learn, do, grow, have fun, be a little better every day, and we'll catch you next week. Look for another Small Scale Life podcast or video here towards the end of the week, and I'll show you some other things we got cooking. So, all right, everybody, take care.
See ya.
Bye.